Plymouth, the newest premium ship to enter Legends, is here at Tier 7, the main feature of which I would say is 16 guns. On top of that, smoke or radar, sonar, heals. On paper, this ship looks fantastic, but how does she perform? Let's find out. The gameplay is on Land of Fire, and the best thing these British Light Cruisers can do is head for an objective and hunt destroyers. If you want to win more games, get good at doing this successfully, and you will. As for ship and commander setup, I tried a few different options, but my favorite was old reliable Bruce Fraser. Aiming systems, rudder, concealment, MBM3. With Bruce, the build is all about DPM and a little survivability. Mikawa helps bring the detection down to 9.7, remember that number, it's going to be very important, and Muller adds a little speed to help in moving around the map because she's not very fast. Agile build, I wouldn't. Stock, top speed, and rudder are both too slow to be good at this gameplay style. Instead, rely on your stealth to stay alive. On to the next most important thing to talk about with Plymouth. Should you run smoke or radar? Well, they're both situational, of course. On capture the base modes, sometimes you don't have objectives to play near. Maybe you don't even have a destroyer on your spawn. In that case, the radar is less than perfect. But all the other times, the radar is extremely, extremely good. Several matches, the radar allowed me to quickly mop up destroyers or see enemy ship movements, and more than likely, those types of things are going to win you the game, not sitting in a smokescreen and farming. The best part about radar on Plymouth, it's Minotaur radar, so it has a 9.9 kilometer range, and if you remember, I said my ship detection was 9.7. So for the first time at Tier 7 for me, since I never build double stealth, I have a stealth radar ship. And that is a scary, scary thing. If you get spotted and you cannot see who is spotting you, simply light your radar up and you will always have the destroyer in your detection range. That is stealth radaring, and it is super, super powerful. Personally, I'm going to always run this on Plymouth over the smoke screens. Not to mention that this is fun. It's really, really fun. I get bored of sitting in smoke screens and farming. Don't get me wrong, I love big damage numbers and I hate exploding, but I would rather play objectives and rely on this stealth and positioning. It's more fun. It's kind of exciting. So let's see it in action. Shards, not B-spawn. Thankfully. We're following our Fantastic into the cap when we get spotted. Now, I figured it could have been a destroyer from B spawn going to A, but after we round this mountain, it couldn't be there anymore, so we decided to go ahead and light our radar up. And obviously, since the cap is contested, there's something up here. The fantastic thing about Plymouth, 16 guns, you can make very short work of any destroyer, and having 40 seconds to do it in, it's awesome. I would always run the radar, but again, it's just my preference. I suppose if you find yourself dying a lot and you're having trouble staying alive in such a squishy ship, then you could run smoke and kind of see what you think. But overall, having a Minotaur radar at Tier 7 is very, very, very powerful. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of the other statistics. Keep in mind the stats on these charts have all of my personal builds on the ships, so they might be a little bit different than what you have set up on your ship. Health points, pretty average, 41,000. We have some heals to boot though. Plymouth comes with 3 stock. They're pretty weak. They are not zombie heals like Edinburgh, Conqueror, Nelson, blah, blah, blah. 5,700 health apiece. They are pretty standard. The armor scheme is terrible. Just like Belfast 43, you have a 16mm bow, a large citadel that sits above the waterline, and a pretty weak citadel deck. You're going to take a beating anytime a battleship looks at you. Also, fighting HE spammers, it's not really that easy for you. Even normal pen light cruisers are going to chunk you for damage almost anywhere they hit on your armor scheme. And this 1v1 fight with the mines is a perfect example. If a ship is bow in to you, sometimes these AP only shells can be kind of difficult. And so anyways, just watch this 1v1 and how much health I lose because of continuous fires and just getting chunked by HE damage. The guns, like mentioned, they're AP only. They should have the increased pin angle still from PC, just like we're used to with the Edinburgh, the Minotaur, and those ships. They're short fuse, they murder destroyers, like mentioned. The reload is fast, 6.5 base. On this build, 5.7, so it actually takes the crown from the mines, from the Weimar, as the highest AP DPM cruiser at tier 7, at least for my build. For reference, it has nearly the same armor-piercing damage output as the legendary Wusta, so very, very powerful. Again, this can be minimized. The AP DPM numbers, you always have to remember, you have to have enemies to cooperate for those numbers to really mean a lot, and if someone's playing bow in like this, they can absolutely tank a lot of damage. Anyways, the mines goes down. The game definitely isn't over. We have the cap advantage, but we are low on health. Hopefully a couple more heals, we can kind of heal back some of that, and we'll head up to get into the action. Torps, you have them, 4 on each side. They reach 10 kilometers, so they're actually pretty useful. You can single fire them, of course, like anything British, and they have a decent yield of damage. AA armament, I guess it's not disappointing. It was fine. It's above average. It's 8th out of 24th for the tier 7 cruisers, so above average, but it's not going to be Cleveland or Mines levels. And the reason I didn't make it an agile cruiser, low top speed, not a good rudder, but concealment is going to make up for it. It's the best at the tier, just like the Belfast 43. Now, I think the controversy with this ship could be that she gets the option to use smoke and radar at the same time on the PC version of the game. So some players might be a little bit disappointed about that here in Legends. Well, my opinion, no. The ship is way too strong to also have smoke radar combination. On PC, this is a tier 10 ship. It's dealing with the likes of Minotaurs, Yamatos left and right, Woosters, Smolensks, you know, all of these very, very powerful tier 10 ships. In our game, it's a tier 7 ship. So she's 2 tiers below, you know, what she would be. So I don't think this ship needs both. I'm glad they made us choose either or. This ship already has great consumables. It has a 4.9 kilometer detection sonar. The best radar in the game, arguably, yeah, with Des Moines getting nerfed. If not, it's close. The ship has insane concealment, decent torps, 4 per side, that's better than Edinburgh's 3 and B-43s, decent AA, and the best armor-piercing DPM at the tier. And this is, you know, armor-piercing shells that have improved pin angles and short fuses. They're going to deal a lot of damage. Now, all of this is weighed out, of course, by the bad. This ship is squishy. Along with Belfast 43 and Weimar, I'm going to call it the least survivable cruiser at tier 7. So it won't be for everyone. It's going to take things like this, what we're doing here, proper positioning. You can't rush in and fight everything headlong. You're going to need teammates to help you with spotting, like our Kaga is doing for us right now. That's going to make all the difference in staying alive and getting good games out of this thing. So good team play, sometimes that's not the strong point of World of Warships, especially on the console, but if you have a division, this thing is going to be basically unstoppable. Extremely good. Anyways, the other bads of the ship, bad firing angles. It's the reason earlier I had such a hard time against the mines. I wasn't able to get my front 8 guns on him, or I would have been opening myself up to big AP damage from him. So something else to keep in mind, it's not all butterflies and rainbows with the Plymouth. Now the other controversy and something that I really worry about, this is the first premium ship that comes with the disclaimer written right on your Xbox menu. This premium could be nerfed in the future if it is overperforming or something to the effect of that. So I get for balancing reasons, you know, that's just something that might have to happen so there's not another Weimar fiasco. However, my fear is that ships like this get released. They get broken down by the CCs, you know, reviewed, and hey, this is a great ship. Maybe this would be a good one to buy. It's competitive, it's fun. And then Wargaming comes along and nerfs it a little bit. You know, as long as this isn't a standard practice that I see happening over and over again, I'm not going to cry wolf. I heard one of the CMs, the community managers, say that they would, of course, try not to do this, you know, just like they have historically, unless, of course, there are shadow nerfs, and I don't want to get into that. But anyways, this game, yes, it's going to be a cracking gameplay. Come here, Helena. Again, the radar is just kind of useful if you don't have anybody spotting for you for that moment. You can use your radars just to see how enemy ships are positioning. Overall, I think I would buy this ship all day, any day in its current configuration, obviously hoping that it doesn't get nerfed in the future. It's a blast to play, and that's all there is to say about that. With the Helena gone, that's the Kraken, and there's only one ship remaining, the enemy Saipan, so we're going to go carrier hunting. This game, I have to say, I was very lucky to have our Kaga doing some spotting. Can be in a little bit more of a pickle if you're having to do the spotting on your own, and I'm also glad the enemy CV was not over here to focus me. Getting B cap early made all the difference in getting us a comfortable points lead, so shout out to my teammates for that. Now to recap. I'm not calling this ship overpowered, don't run out and buy her. I think it's very squishy and that balances it out. I would be curious though what you guys are thinking. You thinking of picking her up? Let me know in the comment section down below. I would love to hear from you. Also, be sure to like the video as that greatly helps the channel out. Saipan gets unspotted here, but just a couple more salvos. Maybe we can get him out of the game. Even from long range, these short fused armor piercing shells seem to do a pretty good amount of damage. Of course, that is with punch through and piercer. Those help out a lot. I played a couple matches without using those perks, and it definitely shows. At longer ranges, you're going to be getting lots and lots more shatters, so keep that in mind and use those DPM perks. The Kaga sets a fire. Unfortunately for me, that fire is going to go ahead and burn out and finish the Saipan off, but hey, I'm not going to complain about 5 kills, and that is going to wrap up this match. Pretty decent game, ended up being about 3,500 base XP. Anyways, I appreciate you guys watching and your continued support, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. See ya.